Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Keaton and we are going to be playing a 15-10 game here on chess.com. And we're going to be playing a Turkish player, Erdem Sambri, who opens with e4. Let's go ahead and play the Sicilian this evening. I do like playing the Sicilian as black. I've played against it once on this channel and it ended up in a stalemate for me, which I ended in a stalemate last night as well as a win. So it looks like we could have an open Sicilian here. The open Sicilian is defined by bringing out that d4 pawn. Usually I like to just take in that situation. But we'll go ahead and see what Erdem Sabri 53 is going to do here. Trying to play error-free chess tonight. I want to play smart. I want to play, and not get overwhelmed by stupid decisions. Okay, so we've got an attack on this F pawn. Not overly worried about that. It's covered by my king. And so this is the old Sicilian variation, according to chess.com. I'm going to go ahead and just move this d4, d6 pawn, up. And actually, they're going to bring out this, and so they've got their light score bishop outside of their structure here. And now I think I'll go ahead and bring out my kingside knight. Probably on my next move, what I'm looking to do is get this pawn up to g6 to fianchetto my dark score bishop. Also can get this light score bishop out at any point, try and pin this knight to the queen. And on this side, I like doing that because I think they're less likely to try and ruin their pawn structure by bringing the H and G pawn both out. But you never know. Everybody's a little different. Yeah, especially when they do that early. I'm going to go ahead and bring this light score bishop out just with that thought process that I'm doubtful that they want to ruin this pawn structure here. So just moving back here, I just would be surprised if they opened their king up that much this early in the game. Lot of unbelievable chess content is coming out right now too. There's a lot of great chess content coming out. A lot of good content on YouTube because of the quarantine. I guess one of the good things about this. All right, so brings up the C pawn. Probably looking to push right here. Again, we can take with this. I am also thinking maybe to bring out my queen. Something to keep in mind too is if they do end up pushing this pawn, it's going to leave this vulnerable for an attack by my knight. So let's go ahead. But I do want to get this out. I'm a little afraid, though, of I can't really do that. And the reason I can't do that is if I bring this pawn out and they then decide to push their pawn, I'm trapped. I can't do anything. So I don't want to make that mistake. Let's go ahead and bring this queen out. eyeing this B pawn, seeing if they have that sense of danger that these two are attached, and maybe even thinking about castling long. I do believe in the Sicilian as black, castling long is kind of thought of as the right move. Okay, so they're going to coordinate their knights, and I feel like you could see them push this pawn now. Although, no, they're protecting now this pawn when they do that. So, probably a pretty smart move. All right. Maybe we add another pawn up, maybe move to e5 here to add another attacker to this square. I don't mind that. I think that's actually not a bad idea. This is an inside-out pawn, just meaning that there are no more pawns that can protect it. Can be a weakness. So something to keep in mind that this is probably a little bit of a weaker pawn. So playing a 1077 here. Again, just trying to play smart. I feel like I've been making a lot of mistakes, particularly on these videos. Last night I dropped a queen in one of my matches. And I think part of this whole chess journey and part of this, at least for me making this channel, has just been to show you that we all make these ridiculous mistakes, and we do it often. A lot of people do it, and I think even at the highest levels it happens. So basically saying, it's okay to make mistakes. All right, so bringing out the queen here. This is a vulnerable queen, first of all, but it's pinning my knight to my king. I think I'm going to go ahead and castle. I'm also looking at ways I can try and attack this queen. I don't really see anything readily available, but it's something to keep in mind that this is a fairly vulnerable queen, and there's nothing protecting it at the moment. But let's go ahead and get out of that pin. Now, this would be a hanging piece, but my queen's right here. So I'm feeling less worried about that. And by less worried, I mean I'm not worried at all. We're 9 moves in, and we haven't traded pieces yet, which with players at the 1,000 rating range is strange. So holding the tension pretty well. I feel pretty good about my position. All I have to do to connect my rooks is move this dark score bishop up. And because they brought in this knight, this queen no longer protects this piece, but they still have the knight, so it wouldn't screw up their pawn structure or anything yet. I'm interested to see what Erdem Sabri 53 decides to do here, because we're at a point where things are starting to get a little more on the sharp side. I'm looking too at pushing this pawn to the d5 square. Okay. Interesting move here. I believe what they're trying to do is they are trying to fork my rooks. I'm not overly worried about that, but I'm going to do some calculations here. So if I move here, he can take. I can take. He can take. I can take. Yeah, I feel fairly good about that. I don't believe that I'm missing anything. So that also takes away the pawn that they would gain through this. But also keep in mind, I mean, this is still protected by my light score bishop. So, yeah, let's go ahead and try and open that center. It would be different if their queen was here, because that would add an extra layer to this. So we trade our first pawns of the match here. And we'll see what they decide to do. If they do decide to take here, we can take back. And that's going to put pressure on this pawn. Okay, so they actually come out with their knight attacking this pawn, coordinating with this piece right here. So what are the threats? Looking in here, that's protected twice. Again, I saw this. If they move this up, that could be an issue, but I can just take in that situation. I can always just retreat too and put pressure on this this knight. They can also move here to try and attack my bishop. So, I mean, something to keep in mind. Hmm. Also, what about trying to see if there are any tactics moving here? I actually think I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if I want to retreat and double up the pawns on the F file. It would force this piece out. I'm using some time on this move, but I do want to make the right move. And this is a really tempting move because I'd be assured I'd be getting their bishop. Even if they move back here, they can't move anywhere else. I'm going to take a chance. And I know I said I wanted to play smart and all that. I'm going to take a chance and do that. It also kind of forces this piece to stay here instead of attacking my pawns on the C and E squares. And yeah, this is an annoying bishop. And if I could force a trade between my bishop and and their bishop and my knight, I would feel fairly good about that. Let's see, they are also struggling to get their dark score bishop involved in the action here. It is protecting this piece. I also thought about moving my light score bishop here. They decide to kind of, I don't want to say ignore the threat, but they just decide this is going to be kind of a lost piece. Might be kind of a why bother situation. So they do add some extra protection. Let's go ahead and take here and then maybe move back this way. Although they could take with this queen, they decide not to. That's kind of what my thoughts were on this the whole time. I didn't think they would. So where can we go? We could go here. Again, I like to do this just to see if I'm missing anything. I don't think I'm missing anything right now. Obviously, this is protected. Out here, I would get taken. This is covered. I can't actually go there. And here is probably my safest spot, although I could go to f4, but they could just shoo me away. There aren't any discovered attacks coming either with this. Let's go ahead. Move back here. It's not the end of the world if I have to double this up. Again, I could take... I really can't, though. I was thinking I could take with my queen, but then their queen can come down the A file and punish that 8-7 pawn. So I'm pretty much stuck with taking with that G pawn. If they allow me to, I'd like to get my dark score bishop out to protect it. And so I feel like I've played without a lot of mistakes early, knock on wood. Okay. So they go ahead and bring this out, putting more pressure on this pawn here. But what they do in the process of that, now let me see, because, okay, I just want to make sure, because I have two defenders, they have two attackers, but this attacker is now, okay, so I think what I'm going to go ahead and do here is take here, and then if they take back with this, which is the only way they can take back, take here, and they can take here, but I will be on that 7th rank, which I feel like will be quite annoying to them. I also have this open file to go down, and it's protected by this bishop too. Yeah, I really like the looks of that. Let's go ahead and execute on that. So I'm assuming they take back here. they decide to go out of order and like take here, obviously I can take with this. They don't do that, which I feel like is probably pretty smart. And again, kind of testing their sense of danger. Let's take here. And I know that now they can take here. I'm aware of that. But I can take back. They can take here. I can also attack down this file. I feel like I've caused some problems. They've got double isolated pawns on that C file now, so their pawn structure is in a quandary, if you will. They can also come here. So they do decide to take with the bishop right away instead of the knight. So that protects here. Now they can take with this. Now let's see. They can come in here with their queen, technically, but I can take right back. I am looking. Now, do I want to... Now, one thing I'm looking at too, what if I go... This is kind of an unorthodox move to the D1 square, hitting this queen. Because their queen then is kind of trapped into, I feel like, trading with me. They could just go here, though. I'm just trying to see, and do I cover right here? Do I just move this, maybe move this king over to protect my A pawn? Maybe that's the smartest move in this situation. One thing I'm noticing, they can go here. If they go here, I take, they take with their queen, but then, yeah, so that's only if I move over. I'm going to go with my initial plan. I know I'm taking way too long on this, but I do want to make the right decision. This is protected here. If they don't take, I'll take here, and then I can move my queen here to attack the rook on that E file. Okay, so they do go there. I think they'll probably go here now because they have this. Things are looking a little sticky for me here. Yeah, and actually they do get the mate with kind of a blunder at the end there, it looks like. So yeah, no way to defend against that in that situation. let's go ahead and take a look at this and see if we can find some of the mistakes on our own, not just using the engine. So a Sicilian game to start. Not an open Sicilian, which is probably why it led to such a long time before anybody took a pawn. So everything really well protected. So far, they don't have any real hanging pieces. Their queen is hanging out here, but I didn't see a lot of ways to attack that early on without just straight up trading my queen. So I think we both developed pretty well. They looked at this, and I never felt like that was a great attack. And so for most of this, I feel like we're pretty darn even. But then I think at this point is when things started to get hairy for me. Yeah, see right there is bad because I don't have that double up. I think the better move was to go to the 7th rank first. Yeah, so I think that's definitely a blunder because what ends up happening here, they take, and then they take my bishop as well. And I was rendered much less effective after that. And so that's really where I feel like a lot of my mistakes stem from is I don't necessarily regret taking this pawn, but yeah, I regret this right here. Just instead of that going here, I think would have been much smarter. And then trying to double up here, because then they could have gone down here, taken here, but I could have doubled up. We could have had a lot of attackers go into this one square. I think that would have been a much better decision, but again, you just keep learning. This was a 1083 at the end of this. A good player, little above my range here. But I also encourage everybody to go ahead and take a look at your games and see if you can spot the mistakes. There's nothing wrong with looking at what the engine does, but I'm going to try and make it more of a habit for myself to look at games myself and not worry so much about what the engine says. Because I think it's really easy to do the, oh, well, the engine says this, but you don't know why the engine says that itself. So I think that it's probably pretty important to self-analyze your games as much as it is to have, the engine do its thing, which is important. I'm not saying that it's not important, but I think this structure would have led to me being more successful. And so I wish I would have seen that at the time. I was taking a lot of time, though. I do have to work on my time management. And thanks again, everybody. Check out my former videos if you like this one. And if you want to see when my videos get posted, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that notifications bell, and you will get all of that. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow when we play some more Blitz chess. And if you want to find me on chess.com, I am FiendKeto91, and I'm actually Keaton. Thanks again, and I will talk to you guys later.